Hello, and welcome to the Fresh Air Show. Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Read all about it! Donald Trump could be getting kicked from the White House!
What? It's true, little paper boy. Do you speak the truth?
Potentially. Even though there's only 2% of people who have still to vote, even if they do go to Trump, he doesn't stand a chance. Because looks like Biden could be our next president.
We're Scottish, Daniel.
Well, I was in Florida for about a few weeks, so does that count?
Oh, so you're tried and born American now.
Well, as long as that blonde-haired idiot is not in charge of half of America's nukes, I'm happy.
Fair enough.
Because if Americans aren't going to make a sensible decision, then we will. In spirit, I guess.
We'll give them the Scottish side-eye. Wait, come on.
Yep. So, how have you guys been since the last podcast?
Not too bad. Don't mind my munching, by the way. I've just got my dinner beside me. So I'm munching on some French fries and sausages.
Nice.
Dudley?
Oh, not too bad really. Just same old. Just trotting along.
Yep.
Just trying to survive recent events.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in case you were curious about that opening skit, well, let's face it, we all know what's going on. We've all been watching the TV for this darn vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Trump could be potentially be getting kicked out of the White House. Finally some good news in 2020.
Mm-hmm. That's how the world balances itself. Things got so bad it had to get rid of the ultimate evil.
Yeah.
Who's Donald Trump? I haven't heard of this Donald Trump. It's news to me.
So,
of course.
You're not into politics, Dudley?
I think it's fair to say that I'm not all that into politics, but like I'm not in the know, if you will. Obviously, I really do know who Donald Trump is. I'm really joking.
Right there.
That guy who looks like gumshoes, right? That's what it is. Don't know if you know what I mean.
Yep, Gumshoes, the Donald Trump Pokemon.
Oh God. All I can say is I'm gonna be glad when we have an internet that isn't jam-packed with Trump jokes anymore.
Yep.
Because it's starting to get wearing thin for me personally. But I mean, but then who's to say the next 5 years aren't going to be everyone saying jokes about Joe?
Well, well, at least Joe's nice to people.
At the very least, nice.
If you'll excuse me for a second, I think I hear our secretaries getting into an argument about something. Excuse me for a second. Just so you're aware, secretaries, we're doing the podcast currently, so...
We have a secretary?
Sorry about that.
What's the...
Oh, is it about the mailing systems again?
Yeah, probably. There's so much shopping to do before Christmas, and yet we're all stuck at home.
So, it really was the mailing system.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, that's basically been the main theme, Trump getting kicked out of the White House. And we actually have 3 headlines, basically just making fun of Trump and his dramatic failure. So...
And dramatic reactions.
Yes. Well, we've got this first one here, and it goes, A petition to send Trump into space and leave him there has been signed by 200,000 people, as he has promised to leave the US if he lost. Please, just send him up there.
He's gonna come here.
Oh, God. Oh.
Send him home.
Yeah, just send him home.
There's a nice well on Mars I've heard you could visit. I'm sure.
I heard it's quite lovely. There is someone waiting there, I'm sure.
God. So yeah, I can just imagine the end of Portal 2 where GLaDOS sends Wheatley into space. Like don't even say goodbye, just throw him away. Yep. Who knows? That could happen. I mean, this is coming from the same country who, after Margaret Thatcher died, we managed to get Ding Dong the Witch is Dead to #1 in top of the charts.
Very true.
Yeah. You remember that, Dudley, at all?
I didn't actually know about that.
Yep, it's true. The same song from Wizard of Oz, Ding Dong the Witch is Dead, was made extremely popular after a very unpopular political leader was put in power and sadly died, but Jesus, that can happen. Next headline. Alan Sugar, host of The Apprentice, Alan Sugar tells Donald Trump, "You're fired." It's just simple headlines like that because Alan Sugar is famous for saying, "You're fired" on The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, thoughts on that?
I like it. That's funny.
Yep, I approve. That's basically Apprentice in a nutshell. Like, somebody always comes on saying, "I'm the best qualified person on this team. There's no way I can do wrong." Then it's just like, "Person, you're fired." Pretty much. That's Apprentice in a nutshell. Okay. And the last headline that I have is this. And it says, "Trump won't run for presidency in 2024 as he'll be in prison," claims his niece. That's family talking about him.
Oh, God.
Oh, when it is family talking smack, that's a whole new level.
Wow. I'm sensing some twisted version of A Christmas Carol. Except it's the niece who's being mean instead of the uncle, I guess.
The analogy kind of fell apart there.
I know, I was just... Yeah, forget it.
That's what you get for trying to Christmasify things before November's up.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think we can go the rest of the podcast without me making a Trump joke. My one and only Trump joke. He played his final Trump card.
Well,
Hey-o.
who else but Dudley? So, yeah, just before we head into the next segment, did anything interesting happen between last podcast and now?
My Etsy's finally taken off a bit.
Ah, nice.
Yep. It's been quiet for the past however long, but since the Christmas season seems to be finally upon me. So,
Yes.
I've been getting a lot more sales. So
And
Nice.
that whole...
yeah, I think that's been proven with your new mini fridge.
For me, two updates. One, obviously, I've been watching Mandalorian Season 2, because that is now out. So any Star Wars fan watching along there, like, you know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. And the other thing is, actually this week, I don't know what I did. I was actually off work for a couple of days because I, like, pulled a muscle and, like, I had a lot of pain in my back. And so, which is a lot better now. I can sort of feel it a little bit, but I guess that was a bit like, ugh, because at 3, it's not what you want at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you have to drive home. But it's kind of funny timing because in a fortnight I'm changing my contract hours at the grocery store I work at. So soon, for permanently, I'm going to be doing 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. shifts for 5 days a week. So, yep.
Yeah. Well, whatever happens next, let's hope things go well.
Yeah, let's hope.
You're listening to The Fresh Air Show. Well, I think it's safe to say that Halloween this year was officially ruined.
Yeah. So bad.
Yeah, not only was it raining, which is already a disaster when it comes to Halloween, but it was on a Saturday.
It was like the stars aligned for this to be the most ruined Halloween.
Halloween never happens on the weekends, and the one time it does, and it was raining.
And lockdown was a thing.
Yeah. Practically nobody showed up. We made like 10 bags full of goodies, and no kids turned up. But to be fair, a lot of those kids had a lot more common sense than a lot of the adults we've seen in 2020. So, naturally, since we were all stuck at home, there's only one other option to celebrate Halloween, and that's to stay indoors and watch whatever spooky movies and TV specials come to mind.
Yeah, my typical Halloween, as I said before.
Yep. So,
I tell myself I'm going to watch a scary movie for Halloween, and then I always forget.
So, yeah. One movie that I found pretty interesting, and what I think is pretty appropriate, seeing as how it was Halloween recently, out of nowhere, they brought us a remake of The Witches.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Now, for me, the original The Witches movie is just brilliant. It's The Witches is the perfect stranger danger movie, and they did it in a way that's not only smart but also terrifying.
Oh yeah, like I don't think I've watched the movie, but I read the original book by Roald Dahl, I think it was, and it was like the way they were described in the book was like, oh god, like. For those who don't know, witches are supposedly bald and wear wigs. They have no toes, and they always have very odd smiles. And they're eight children.
Starting to see the similarities to Complete Strangers now, because that's basically the point of the story. But yeah, the first time I saw The Witches was during my high school English class, and let me tell you, it is unnerving as heck.
Yeah?
Because, let me tell you, the Grand High Witch in her true form was downright horrifying.
I really need to watch this movie. I'm sure I had the DVD somewhere, but I don't remember where I put it.
Yeah, because... oh god, I was seriously trying my best not to show my fear in front of the rest of the class, and yet I was there going like, oh god, no. Ugh.
I can almost imagine it.
So, yeah, it is pretty disturbing, but you can't help but admire it for it once you're mature enough to deal with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I actually saw it for the first time early on this year, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I remember my friend's ex apparently was traumatized by the film to the point where she couldn't rewatch it because, like, it's one of those films you see as a kid and you get scarred for life, I guess. But I saw it and I thought, I really like this. It had this sort of, watching it as a 28-year-old, it had this whimsical element to it. Like, and it also had it gave me the same vibes as I think it's Mousetrap, the film called Mousetrap.
Or Mouse Hunt.
Or no, Mouse Hunt. That's it. Yeah, Mouse Hunt.
Yeah, I can see the similarities there. But yeah.
And it has Rowan Atkinson in it as well, so you know that's.
Yep, you can't argue with him.
For a split second, I thought you were talking about me, and like, I wasn't in anything.
Yeah, I meant to say Rowan, and I said Rowan. Sorry.
So, but another thing that makes the original amazing is that spoiler alert, by the way. 2 of the kids get turned into mice by the witches, so they can't cause any more trouble for them. And let me tell you, the puppetry done on the mice are just fantastic. Like, I don't care how unrealistic you make them. As long as they're still physical, I can believe that these mice are actually there.
Yeah, there's something about puppetry that just rings differently from CG.
Yep, which brings us directly to the 2020 movie. For me, I have my doubts about this movie.
Oh, yeah?
Sure, it's got a diverse cast and all, and sure, the witches are kind of unique in their own way, but I'm sorry. Are the witches described as having only like 3 fingers?
I guess you can make them as deformed as you want in the case of when you try to make them ugly and stuff.
Well,
but, I mean,
what I'm getting at is that it's like when you have those animes that try and turn everything that exists into like an anime girl. Like, this is a blood cell. No, it's not. That's a human girl. Trust me.
That Cells at Work reference.
Yeah, it is.
I watched that anime. That was good.
So yeah, I mean, they are scary in their own way, like how their jaws sort of split open and are shown to have sharp teeth and all. But
yeah.
To me, just and the fact that the mice are all in CG and they have like these weird eyebrows, it's like.
Yes, eyebrows on animals.
Yeah, I'll stick with the puppetry, thank you.
One thing I'm interested to see if they address is, at the end of the original, there's this witch who's like you could say, the secretary of the High Witch. And, not really a spoiler, but by the end of the film, she kind of, shall we say, gets away. And you kind of get the vibe that she's somewhat of a good witch, but she was also power hungry. Basically, it leaves you thinking whatever became of her, and I'm wondering if they'll have her in the remake, if they do make it. It was kind of interesting.
If they did expand the story a little bit, I could see her teaming up with some other group of kids in order to fight back against the evil witches. But the thing is, I'm not sure she was even in the original book.
Yeah, I don't remember anything like that in the original book.
Because
the only notable witch was the Grand High Witch, and the rest were just extras, like followers.
Yeah.
There was never even any implication that there might be good witches. They just all hated children and all wanted them dead and gone.
Yeah, and in the original book, apparently Luke remains a mouse forever because, in his own words, he doesn't want to outlive his gran. So yeah, that's a little. I guess it's bitter, sweet, ending, but you kind of can't help but argue with the film's version of it because, yeah,
That's creepy Roald Dahl writing at its finest, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Roald Dahl.
I also don't remember if that was the only reason or if they just were unable to turn him back into a mouse in general, and he just saw the silver lining, like, I can't turn back into a human kid, but mice only live so long, and you're not getting any younger, so.
Yep. So yeah, whether this version will do well, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Mhm.
So,
On this,
Dudley?
I was going to say, on the subject of witches, I've heard that they're remaking Hocus Pocus. No, they're making a sequel to Hocus Pocus for Disney Plus.
Oh,
And
okay.
they have the actual actresses of those witches playing the characters, so I'm excited because I love
Wow.
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus. It's pretty much a guilty pleasure for everyone at Halloween.
Oh, the hammy acting.
For me, it's not even a guilty pleasure. I just enjoy it. I just find it. I just like that sort of film.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's not 100% perfect. I mean, our main lead is basically your typical teenager who just doesn't want to be in this movie, basically. But I still admire it because you can't help but chuckle at these three women wandering around this town, and everyone has no idea that they're actually witches.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's Hocus Pocus is a pretty good one. So Ryan, any movie in particular you like watching around Halloween?
And like I said earlier, I keep telling myself I'm going to watch a scary movie for Halloween, and then I just forget for some reason. But if we're going to talk about like general scary movies that I might watch at any time, I remember one time I was weirdly obsessed with going to see Ju-on the Grudge, a Japanese scary movie.
Doesn't ring a bell, but I can slightly picture it.
Yeah, it's basically a typical haunted house story. Family moves into a house where a man murdered his wife and son, and throughout the entire movie they're tormented by their spirits, and it's generally a very creepy atmosphere. Like, I don't know what it is about Japanese movies or Japanese horror movies that strike differently from American horror movies, but something about them just feels so much more real and more of a danger.
Sheesh. I mean, this is coming from the same people who created Godzilla, who, in their mind, is basically their fears of nuclear war personified through this giant lumbering monster. So yeah, speaking of Godzilla, I think I might have brought this up before, but I did see Shin Godzilla, which is pretty. It was a unique experience. The first purely Japanese Godzilla movie I ever saw, and yeah, it was pretty epic.
Cool.
It was sort of treated as like an origin story, but this time round, Godzilla's like unbelievably powerful and big, and I think he's actually one of the scarier looking Godzillas, because when you look back to the original, they're basically just men in rubber costumes. But still, yeah.
Is Shin Godzilla the one where his mouth is really elasticy and like it's a Japanese one and his atomic breath just obliterates it? Because I think I saw a clip of that and it was like, jeez.
Yep.
It was really
Because, oh my gosh, some of those scenes were pretty ridiculous. Like normal Godzilla's famous for his radioactive beam, but let me tell you, he has an unbelievable flamethrower that just decimates everything. And when he concentrates it into his nuclear beam, and
No, it's definitely the same one we're thinking of. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I remember that.
Oh,
that was
and
crazy.
how do you make it even better? Have it come out both ends. Not out of his
I don't remember
not
that.
out of his rear, out of his tail.
Oh, God.
But that would be pretty ridiculous if that was the case.
So more realistic, bizarrely.
Fair enough.
Oh God, what have I created?
Fan artists, get your pencils ready.
Run!
God.
It's Godzilla! Oh God, what am I doing? God. Next segment.
You are listening to the Fresh Air Show.
Well, it's that time again, folks. It's the month's most ridiculous headlines.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get into them. In this month's news, a Louisiana police officer has crashed after an owl flew into his patrol car. Yep. So apparently, an owl flew into this policeman's patrol car and started pecking at him.
Oh God, it's like Birdemic in real life.
Oh
Oh,
God,
no.
not Birdemic.
One pandemic after another.
So yeah, I'm just looking at this little caption someone made, and it says, "Owl, do it again." I just had to bring it up.
So where and when did this happen?
Louisiana.
Sorry, I missed that. Louisiana. Okay.
And yeah, there's a little
So-
picture of it. It's like a tawny owl, and it's just sitting in the passenger seat, just looking all shocked, like.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, I don't know what that owl was thinking, but I mean, we've talked about it in previous Halloween podcasts, how owls are supposedly witches. So, oh dear. Okay, here's the next headline. NASA is to check giant gold asteroid that everyone can be a millionaire on Earth.
Is that so?
Yep. Apparently, there's an asteroid made entirely of gold in our solar system's asteroid belt, and it's just sitting there waiting to be mined. Now, asteroid mining is a pretty fascinating concept because we have a whole asteroid belt in our system, and it's just sitting there with random rocks floating about. We don't know what materials are in them, but hey,
Yep.
if we mine this stuff, we could find all sorts of unique and fascinating ores and jewels.
Mhm.
So, thoughts, Dudley?
Wasn't there talk recently that beneath the moon's surface they found like bodies of water recently, which
Ooh.
is interesting. How
Are
it's
you
stored
sure?
that away.
Are you sure it's not soup?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Is it cheese soup?
No, I'm just saying because I think the soup dragon might be pretty angry if they found out.
What?
The clangers.
Oh God.
Because this, the soup dragon, she lives under the surface of the planet, and she lives in the soup wells and gives out soup to everyone. Never seen that show?
Nod along and pretend I know what you're talking about.
The Clangers was a classic show for me. They even rebooted the series not too long ago on CBeebies. So, yeah.
Rowan, do you know about Button Moon?
Oh, yeah.
Button Moon?
Similar sort of
off
age.
to Button Moon.
When it came
We'll
out.
follow Mr. Spoon, Button Moon.
Button Moon.
No?
Doesn't ring a bell, sorry.
Oh, God. My heart.
Oh well, it's okay. We're talking our parents' childhoods, so I wouldn't blame you.
It was
I mean,
both of them were on late after Nick Jr.
Ah.
So you probably had a chance to see them then, but still. Okay, and here's the next headline. A town in Switzerland has been covered in chocolate after a factory malfunction. Willy Wonka's not going to be happy with this.
And your Oompa Loompas!
so they had chocolate rain, basically, and then the next day a gold meteorite is going to crash into Earth, and they're going to have gold rain on them as well. Could you pick a better day?
Some say dry and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain.
I never thought we would stoop so low, would you?
Well, it's on YouTube. Back when memes lasted years instead of minutes.
Ah, yes.
So apparently, a small town in Switzerland has been left with a magical story after a local chocolate factory malfunction resulted in chocolate snow. Apparently.
Switzerland's gonna taste delicious.
Yeah.
It's Swiss chocolate as well, so. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's Lint as well. Oh, I
Well,
want to. We know where we're going for our holiday once this lockdown is over. Oh my god. It'll be like, it's gonna be like some sweet version of Pompeii. A bunch of people frozen in time forever covered in chocolate. Oh god. Oh, that would. There's ridiculous. But yet again, that's what these are meant to be. And our last headline of the day is this. A woman calls off her wedding with a ghost after he, quote unquote, kept disappearing.
Pardon?
So, this was brought up by Maury, that guy, and apparently a woman has called off this wedding with a ghost after he apparently kept disappearing. I wonder why.
A ghost disappearing. How bizarre.
Yeah. Yet again, another woman in love with a ghost saying it's not going well.
Yeah, it seems to be turning into a common problem, this. Marrying ghosts and all that stuff. It's starting to lose its surprise value to me.
God. So, yeah, yet another woman in love with a ghost, and finally coming to her senses, apparently.
Was the ghost saying no because the other ghost burst into the church and was like, I object!
I'd watch that. Who knows? You can do you can do a lot of afterlife concepts, and it'll probably turn out pretty well.
Take opportunities with that.
Well, speaking of which, another movie I tend to watch around this time now are The Book of Life and Coco.
Oh, I've seen The Book of Life. I haven't gotten around to seeing Coco. Is it good?
Oh, if it might actually be better than The Book of Life.
That's actually interesting because I've seen Coco, but I haven't seen The Book of Life. So,
perfectly balanced.
Yes.
So,
but yeah, I never got around to seeing Coco, but I heard like at the start of Coco being announced, there was a bit of controversy going around because it seemed like it was ripping off the story of The Book of Life, so people were a bit iffy about it.
I've heard Nostalgia Critic bring that up, and he said that the stories are different enough that you could tell that they're not ripping off each other, which is okay.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it, so.
It's a movie
The idea
based
of
on
the-
a holiday.
After like Dios de los Muertos, there's already a widespread thing in like the Latin American countries, so there's a lot you could do with it, and there's so much like set lore that a lot of things are going to overlap.
Well, yeah, because the controversy, it's basically ripping off this movie. But you need to remember, this is based off the same holiday. Does that automatically mean the Polar Express is ripping off A Christmas Carol? No. They're two completely different things that just so happen to be set at the same day.
I did see a lot of Day of the Dead merch in store for Halloween this year, which I don't usually see, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. I admit, I actually do have two. One's a Dragon Ball shirt and the other is a Star Wars shirt, but everyone's basically just skulls.
Oh.
I know I'm going off subject here, but a little bit. But I had a bit of a brainstorm recently, seeing as we're talking about movies. How you know how popular Infinity War and Endgame were, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if Endgame had come out a year later. It would not have done as well because nobody would have been able to go and see it because of the lockdown. Can you imagine?
Nobody could have predicted this.
Yeah, like how different would it have been? It's like Thanos snapped his finger and then the virus kicked in. Do you see?
We are living Endgame.
But everyone said it, like joked about it, like Thanos is going to cause the end of us in 2020, and then suddenly the virus hits.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
but I'm not morbid or anything. I don't think that's.
Yep. So there we go. Those are the month's headlines.
I'm Randy Newman, and you're listening to the Fresh Air Show. I'm Randy Newman.
Well, to wrap this year up, we're going to be doing the exact same thing we've been doing 6 months ago. Staying at home and watching whatever movies and media is made available.
Yes, and on that note, a few of you may be familiar with the game called Cuphead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, ages ago when it came out and it was storming the world, before Among Us came out, me and my cousin were playing through the game and we got up to the final boss and for some reason we stopped. And then yesterday I decided to beat the final boss by myself and remembered that it was
Wait, hold on. So you had this 2-player version of Cuphead and yet you decided to finish it without him. How annoyed was he when you found out you beat it by yourself?
Oh, who knows? But how annoyed do you think I was waiting for a year for him to come back and finish it?
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, so I'm not sticking around. I'm a completionist. I need to finish this game, and it was easy. But but so they announced it ages ago that they're going to make a cartoon show on Netflix.
Yep,
and
practically gift wrapped, because when you have a game that's based off 1930s rubber hose cartoons, naturally, chances are it's probably gonna spawn something similar.
So, I have to ask a perfectly legitimate question. Are they going to make a live-action movie of Among Us featuring Ian McKellen, Rowan Atkinson, Jim Carrey is the red one, maybe?
Well, I'm pretty sure that's basically a
Jim
recolored...
Cummings is the white one.
I think that's basically a recolored version of The Thing.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what Among Us is. It's basically a cartoon version of The Thing.
But seriously, going back to Cuphead, it sounds like it's going to be funny. I've been watching leaked clips since this morning, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah, and it's hitting me with SpongeBob vibes, which is always a good sign for a show that's determined to be funny.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I actually thought that as well. It had SpongeBob vibes.
yeah, because SpongeBob is technically past his prime. Like, he's done the best he could, but even with his new movie, which is basically just an extended episode, but yeah, SpongeBob's had a long run. Let's see if Cuphead and Mugman can fill in that niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it will come out in 2021, so I have to wait. But in the meantime, we have a Lego Star Wars Christmas special that's come out recently. Maybe we'll bring up at Christmas.
Yeah, that's a questionable decision because, for those of you who don't know, there was a Star Wars holiday special made all the way back when it was pretty relevant, and it is considered one of the worst moments in the franchise's history. Because it is just weird and has nothing to do with the movies.
It's actually quite interesting because I think Dave Filoni, who's one of the directors doing Mandalorian, I guess has a nostalgic opinion of that, so he references it in the first episode quite a bit, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Look,
But because it's in Lego, I'll allow it, because Lego always pokes fun at whatever franchise they're dealing with. Because yeah, I can see it working, because Lego films can get pretty ridiculous.
Yep. They do not stray away from the absolute zaniness.
So, Brian, you watch anything interesting lately?
I've gotten into an anime called Demon Slayer at last. My cousin was telling me all about it and being like, you should watch it. And I watched it. It's quite good.
Nice. As for me, I recently got into the Owl House, which is Disney's new big time show. So
Yeah, we watched a few episodes together when I came over for your birthday.
yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this little compilation on YouTube recently of a villain, and he has like a golden mask, like a beak mask on him, and I
Plague
couldn't
Doctor
tell if
mask?
that was. Huh?
That's a Plague Doctor mask, I think you're thinking about.
Yeah, is that from Owl House? Was it?
Potentially, yeah.
I'll have to check.
Yeah, because it's I think it is pretty original, even though it is based off of different concepts like Harry Potter and the TV series The Worst Witch, basically.
Yeah, I feel like it pokes sort of fun at those ideas. Like, in those sort of stories, there's like a reason that this human child came to this magical world. But the main character of the Owl House literally stumbled there by accident, and I'm pretty sure there's even a whole episode dedicated to her like wanting a magic destiny purpose, and her mentor figure is just like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and heck, even in the first episode, the main character, Luce, basically, they're trying to escape this prison, and she's like, and she's like referencing Harry Potter with the brooms, like, up! Wrong spell. Like, I've not watched it in a while, but it went along those lines.
Yeah.
So yeah, Luce is a pretty fascinating character, like, very relatable, even though even though she's that kid who has a habit of turning her eyelids inside out. We all know that kid who did that in school, don't we?
Yep.
Ugh. Anyway, to sort of end this podcast off, I do have a bit of a funny story regarding a TV show.
You tell.
So, one of my favorite childhood shows was Bear in the Big Blue House.
Ah, yes. I remember.
Yes, it's just such a wholesome show. And
We're not singing the goodbye song to end this podcast, are we?
no, copyright. And so basically, you know how at the start of every episode it always starts off with Bear going like, "Today we're going to," huh? What's that smell? You know, and he always
It's always like, whoa, personal boundaries there.
And so, yeah, it always starts off with Bear like going, "What's that smell?" And he always winds up sticking his nose right into the camera. And to this day, it always makes me chuckle because it's just, it just gets such a nice reaction out of you. Like it's like a dog licking your face. Anyway, I remember there was one instant I was watching with my brother, and yeah, the show was beginning, and the show starts up, and Bear suddenly, and as usual, Bear, he starts sniffing the air like, "What's that smell?" And my brother farted. It was so perfectly timed.
Comedically timed farts. Classic.
Oh, it was brilliant. What's that smell? Oh.
The only way better was if your brother farted right before he said that. That's the only way it could have been more perfect.
Yes. Oh my god. But that's always made me laugh. I can just remember we were just bursting out laughing as soon as Bear sniffed the camera and he went, "Oh, it's you!"
Oh, God.
You stinky little man.
Oh god. So yeah, I just had to share that.
Thank you for sharing that. That's lovely to leave off on.
So yep, that'll do us for this month, guys. We'll see you next month for the Christmas special.
Yay!
Yes, see you for the next podcast where I have a special surprise for Rowan and Dan.
Ooh.
Huh?
Okay, an early Christmas present. Can't wait.
Woo.
So, we'll see you guys next time. Time to say goodbye, guys.
See you later.
Well,
Anyway.
until next time, bye-bye.